Good evening, everyone. I'm Cassandra Paris. I am co-artistic director of Eden Theater Company, and I want to thank you so much for being here tonight for our benefit performance of the Living Room Plays, the second installment of our three-part series, The Room Plays. It is our honor to dedicate any and all donations from tonight's performance directly to the Equal Justice Initiative. Since 1989, the Equal Justice Initiative has provided legal representation for people that have been illegally convicted or unfairly sentenced. Their groundbreaking research on criminal justice reform has been instrumental for policymakers and educators across the nation. To find links on where to donate or more information on the Equal Justice Initiative, please head to either our website at edentheater.org or eji.org. So tonight, we are happy to present the second iteration of the Room Plays, the Living Room Plays. In response to the pandemic, our collective created this series to remind our community that even during isolation, there's more that connects us than keeps us apart. But as we deal with that isolation from disease, the continual fight for racial equality and social justice has given the idea of isolation a whole new meaning, which affects the experience of isolation during these changing times. Each playwright developed 3 different vantages into what it means to be isolated in America throughout this last month. From a couple who lock themselves in to a teacher who works from their couch, we are then drawn to the landscape of an apocalyptic drama, told from one of our most familiar locations. These plays are explorations of the rooms in which we lock ourselves into, and the rooms from which there may not be an immediate exit. So on behalf of everyone at Eden, we thank you for sharing this moment with us. And without further ado, I present to you the Living Room Plays.
Hey.
Hey,
Where have you been?
I went to the store. It was too long a line. I hate this.
Oh, you've been gone a long time.
I walked around.
Hey, look what I found in the medicine cabinet. Pedicure?
You're funny.
I'll paint your toenails.
Really?
Yeah. Come here.
Really?
Mm-hmm. How was work today?
Work?
Yeah, work.
Busy.
Long shift?
Long. But stimulating.
How so?
All the comings and goings in the hospital.
Was Dr. James on duty today?
Yes. Yes, he was.
And how is he handling the pressure?
I think, well.
How so?
He's found a way to find release.
Well, good for him.
Good for all of us.
Do doctors and nurses share a cloakroom?
A cloakroom.
Yeah, a place where they.
No, no.
Oh, I thought they did.
But doctors and doctors share a locker room.
Ah, of course, my bad.
It's funny that you mentioned Dr. James.
Funny haha or funny interesting?
I bumped into him in the locker room today.
You bumped into him. Tell me about it.
He was changing into his scrubs when I walked in.
You walked in and he was changing.
No, he was taking off his street clothes. He had his pants off.
Was he, did he mind that you were in the locker room?
No,
Was he surprised?
he didn't seem overly concerned.
And how do you know that?
I think he was happy to see me.
Well, what makes you think that?
Well, he doesn't wear underwear.
Whoops. Okay. So, he was naked,
Not totally.
but from the waist down.
Absolutely.
Interesting. So what happened?
He said, "Hey, Amy, you're early today."
And you said, really? Seems like I'm just in time.
Nothing that obvious.
Oh, okay. So what did you say?
I didn't say anything. I was too busy staring.
Go on.
So beautiful. He isn't snipped.
Does that surprise you?
Well, yes. But no. It all seemed to make sense.
Why is that?
Because he's from Santorini.
Well, that explains the accent.
Hot
Yeah.
and sexy.
So he was changing into his scrubs.
Yes, but he was having trouble finding his size.
And what size would that be?
Extra, extra large.
Sounds like a big boy.
You have no idea.
And so how did he solve his problem?
I offered to help.
You'd think a man with a PhD could find his own scrubs.
You would think.
Yeah. So what happened?
So I just took off my street clothes.
For sanitary reasons, of course.
Well, of course. But I was getting really hot.
Well, it sounds like a good, solid working arrangement. Two doctors changing into their scrubs. But were you concerned that someone might walk in, misunderstand the nature of your relationship?
I locked the door.
I see.
And I sat down on the wooden bench where the scrubs were stacked,
Mm-hmm.
and I started looking through them.
Any luck?
Nope. So I looked up at Dr. J and I said, "I think you're going to have to go commando today. There are no extra larges."
And what did he say?
It was all Greek to me.
Well, he is from Santorini.
Yes. But no, I stopped listening. You see, he was standing right in front of me. And it was right there.
But you had a job to do, right? You both did. You had to hop on your shift, busy day at the hospital.
Remember, I was early.
Yes.
And I wondered, do you pull the foreskin back or leave it be before you put it in your mouth? What do you think would feel better, Miles?
Fries or coleslaw
Either or.
with extra tartar sauce. What was that?
What was what?
That cough.
Nothing. Let's keep playing.
No, that was definitely a cough.
Don't be ridiculous.
Did you wear your mask when you came back from the store?
Of course I wore my mask.
I didn't see it around your neck.
It was in my pocket.
You forgot to take your temperature.
No, I don't have a temperature.
Go take your temperature.
No, I don't need to take my temperature.
Oh my God,
Miles.
Amy.
No, please.
Oh my God.
Please, let's keep playing. Please, Miles, please. I need to keep playing. Please.
I don't want to play anymore.
Listen, it's allergies. It's
No, I'm not in the mood.
No, please.
No.
Shit. Shit. Did I get my unemployment check?
Can you hear me? Hello? Give me a thumbs up. Ah, yes, thank you. Thank you very much. All right, yes, okay, I see one person. Okay, many of you have your videos off. Let me just take this time to remind you that this class is 50% participation. I will not count you in this class unless I'm able to see your eyes looking at me the way I know you're here. Thank you. Thank you. There we go. More faces. Hello. Good morning. Yes. Thank you. Good afternoon, class. My name is Dr. NWA, but some of you already know me as B. You may call me B. And this is Decall 3408, Decolonization and the subject of deprogramming. Make sure you are in the right class. I don't want to scare anybody. I don't have to. Now, some of you all took this class under the impression that it would be an art class, and it is, but remember that art examines human activities. It's a window, okay? A document into a world revealing truths. What you see is not always what you get, okay? And you know, for me, it's really been hard right now to sit down and focus on my art. It's really been hard to sit down and focus on anything other than this immediate, inevitable doom of the past and how it traumatically relates and intersects with our present. The American experiment has failed, people. You know, George Washington asserted the idea of the great American experiment like it means something, right? So let's examine that, shall we? Oh, yes, Eric Johnson. Yeah, Thomas Jefferson coined the phrase the American experiment in his inaugural. Thank you so much for noting that. But let me be very clear about what he meant. He was not responding to the increasing violence and oppression of the enslaved people for the support and rise of King Cotton. No, for Jefferson and his boys, not yet. But to be clear, Jefferson was about one white elite versus another white elite and competition over power and control over property, which included enslaved people at the time. His experiment of whiteness was in peril. You know, what I find completely fascinating is how a person or a group of people or several groups of people can choose to just reshape, rewrite, rename, reconstruct, and replace history. So let us consider that term, shall we? His story, his story. What is our history? Whose history is it that we're forced to learn in school as children? Is it rooted in facts? What facts? Whose story is it? Let's discuss a few facts, shall we? I'd like to take this time to measure your abilities to think outside of your programmed minds. Yeah? Now, art is humanity, a history. Art is history. So, where does it emerge from? Who started it? Oh, oh no, Elvis? That was a rhetorical question, and no, You're actually wrong. The beginning of humanity started on the continent of Africa, and therefore African people are the originators of humanity, and thus the originators of art. Okay, that went over a little bit better than I thought it would. I see some of your eyes switching. That's okay. Exhibit 1. The first art, Paleolithic cave paintings, hunter-gatherer, the pastoral in between, a hunt for food, the clan remote, praising the beast for their nourishment, for the clan to survive, joined in singularity before the otherness, before the catastrophe of property. Here, each of our ancestors, our descendants, the African ancient cosmic womb. The first art, the first document of power appropriated by white power, Eurocentrism. So, how does colonization destabilize this class? Oh, again, Elvis, it was a rhetorical question. Exhibit 2. Our present defacement. Basquiat's memorial of the 25-year-old graffiti artist Michael Stewart in his last moments. 1983, his death, beaten by police. Here are different beasts, hunting and beating for their survival, violent, fearing their humanity will collapse their world in some way, so they must kill that which they see as harm to their power. Here, the past links the present, the power of survival. Now, let us then see the first colonization of color, the origin story of American society. One traveler, rapist, illegal, alien, immigrant, Christopher Columbus of Italy was sent to the New World by Spain, yes, decorated with a national holiday to remind us of his authorship of our country, the discoverer of America. And you know, he never even set foot on American soil, North American soil. Exhibit 3. A painting that illustrates the politics of property, a mythological vision of white godliness, the glory of the encounter while committing a genocide to the Taínos in the shadows. Can you see them there? Do you see them in the shadows? In 1836, during the height of slavery, Congress commissions this painting to be placed in the rotunda of the Capitol, the seat of government, where the laws, rooted in a belief. What belief does this painting tell you all? Oh yes, Joe Jackson, it is definitely about power, but no, Mr. Anderson, are you serious? It's not about fashion, unless you're talking about fashion of power that's codified, a codified image of whiteness, proscription, Christian, pure whiteness, the philosophical basis of power, their power of property. But be serious. Columbus spent most of his time in the Caribbean, and this man is credited with the whole founding of the US of A. And the motherfucker has never even been here before. I mean, that's what some of the OGs I know would call fronting. But let's not be swayed. Let us stay focused. Exhibit 4. A commodity of whiteness, the first evidence of an I can't breathe moment in the height of whiteness. Oh, do you see where that man has his knee? 1830s cartoon, the chokehold of the white property cast aside the power of an individual, the first humanity, singularity wiped out. Oh, yes, Becky, I am familiar with the 1619 Project. Yes, I am. But let's go back a century, shall we? 1526, Black women of African descent are documented in the present-day states of Florida, New Mexico, California. I mean, African people helped establish the city of St. Augustine in Florida. 1619 is specific to Jamestown and the English colony. But let me be very clear. When we talk about the ills and bowels of our society, they are often downplayed, misexplained, or dismissed completely. And see, that's just what we ain't gonna do. And I say ain't respectfully, not in this class. Not only was cotton planted in the fields in the South, it was shuffled along to the north into textile mills across the Atlantic to fund nations, funding the power of white property through the great white fleet of imperialism. And when decolonization finally arrived at their doorstep, they chalked it up to shit to save their own property. Photography becomes an exposition to this divided power. Exhibit 5. The reality of property, of power. Here is the Friday night special postcard. Ooh, a new form of art sent to the relatives up in the north to say, hello, here are your sons of humanity torn asunder by the power of whiteness. Marion, Indiana, 1930. Thomas Shipp and Abram Smith in their final moments. But the fallen do not give up. Exhibit 6. The Great Migration offered a possibility of hope, somehow a unification, a chance at true change. The photograph will not lie. It will be an object of the truth. Whew. All right, y'all. Now, have any of you all ever heard of James Baldwin? Yes. No. Yes, of course. Read a bit of his work? No, maybe not. That's okay. Prolific feminist piece of theater, The Amen Corner. We'll read it later in the semester. Well, Mr. James Baldwin, the extraordinary thinker and writer that he was, poses one of the most fascinating questions posed to white men in society, in history. He asks, and you might want to write this down. You're going to want to write it down with a pen or a pencil. Yeah. He asks, what does it mean to be white? And furthermore, why did the white man create this idea of the Negro, that all Black people are this inescapable other? And most importantly, why did he need him? Y'all still with me? Okay, excellent, excellent. Okay. These are just some questions we're going to explore on our first day. These questions will continue to be explored on the first moments of class as we move forward. Today, they're just an icebreaker, if you will. Using art to question the use of brutality. Brutality creating millionaires, billionaires, funding the power of white property. Art as a white institution. Who profited and at what costs? Oh, oh yes, Mr. Johnson, this is uncomfortable. Welcome to the revolution. Exhibit 7. Eldridge and Kathleen Cleaver, the Black Panther Party, the codified philosophy of Blackness, assassinated by a secret organization in America. Oh, yes. Secret except to those men in power at the time. The FBI. Now, this Blackness is fundamental when examining who dies at a young age due to police violence and who gets to live and study at an Ivy League institution. Not so different from this woke progressive institution you come to find your liberal selves at. But whose children get to grow up with their parents and which ones don't? which people find their fates in the hands of an unjust justice system and which ones don't. Exhibit 8, here is where we're at. Now, how often are we running into people right now, living in this present progressive year, who will say, I had no idea it was this bad. I don't understand why people are so angry when it's in there all along, plain as day. The large pink elephant in the room. But it was just easier for you to ignore, right? Yeah, you. Yeah, you. Did I offend some? Did I strike a progressive liberal nerve? I'm so sorry. It's okay. But if you choose to leave, that's on you. You got to take this class to graduate, so I'll see you next semester. But I'm going to tell you, like my father told me, a hard head makes a soft ass, meaning your ass is going to learn one way or another. So, who's Black in America? Oh, well, excuse me, Karen. Yes, this is an art history class. No, this is not a poli-sci class. And the art history is that Jim Crow was a white man's character of Blackness. Exhibit 9, Vanessa. A white man, again, in the 1830s, Thomas D. Rice defined what it meant to be Black on your great white way, on your Broadway, leading to not only years of oppression, but vaudeville and your leading golden age of white art. But no longer will the Black artist be denied their authentic selves. Change is so uncomfortable. Boo-hoo. So is living on your knees, children. So, what are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do now?
Oh, don't go, please don't go. I have more breath. Oh, don't go.
See what you did? You went and scared them off with your little stale stone bread. They think you throwing stones at them.
Will you shut up?
What's the matter, Freedom?
You making fun of me is the matter. Fallen the big matter.
That's not the matter.
Then what's the matter? What matter are you talking about?
What matter are you talking about?
What's it matter to you?
It matters, okay?
Why doesn't anything matter when everything matters? Pressure, temperature. I could blow up on the spot if the wrong particles collide. Spontaneous combustion matters. Atomic explosion matters. That's the matter. I'm talking about the freaking, the whatchamacallit. You know how it all started. Oh my God, the Big Bang, the Big Bang. Yes, the Big Bang.
Never heard of it.
Oh, well, I guess it don't matter.
I guess not.
He fallen? Do you think it's ever going to come for us? I mean, it feels like we've been waiting here an awfully long time.
What's that, Freedom?
The end, Fallen. The end.
Maybe. Probably already did. Probably got sucked up by a black hole and didn't even know it. Probably chewed us up, ran us through its guts, and splattered us out into some other doomed dimension. The kind of place where the people go to war for moons and stars on little blinky-lidded ships and equipped with technicolor death rays that evaporate anything they come in contact with.
Whoa. You think they fought for the stars just to name them?
What?
You remember long ago when people used to, they used to buy stars and name them, or sometimes they'll be lucky enough to just to discover one.
Yeah, I remember that.
Or they'll wish. Oh, I mean, a star would fall from the sky. They would wish, you know that.
I remember that too. What can I say? People were idiots, Freedom.
Then why'd they do it?
To feel connected to something. It didn't matter if it was a stupid star named Bartholomew 9 trillion miles away or a star stitched onto a flag. It's the pinch and the ouch.
Well, I don't get it.
It's about relationships. I pinch you, yeah? You say ouch. It's a give and take, a push and pull. It's how we relate to one another. It gets the old American blood flowing to the heart to feel a part of something. Only problem is people eventually started having no hearts.
Well, too bad people weren't octopuses.
What?
An octopus has 3 hearts.
And 8 tentacles. What's 8 plus 3, Freedom?
Oh, well, 8 plus 3, that's 9, 10, 11. It's 11.
Ooh-wee. I must say that is quite an impressive on-the-spot calculation. I never knew you was good at arithmetic. I always took you for a language arts and history type. You ain't hiding things from me, are you? Your pal, your friend.
I ain't hiding anything away from you. Cross my heart, hope to die.
Stick a needle in your eye.
I will give me a needle. I'll prove it. Would that count?
That has to count because you can't.
Can't what?
Exactly. It proves my point.
Proves what point?
Nah, forget it.
Say it!
I'm not going to say it.
Why not?
You won't get it.
I'll get it!
Your gears and sprockets ain't grinding correctly. They ain't cranking any sense out of you upstairs.
You shut your goddamn mouth!
You shut it.
You!
I command you to zip it up right now or I'm going to strangle you!
Okay. Jesus, I can't breathe. Give me, why don't you? Then there won't be anyone left on this earth.
Well, you might as well go ahead and knock it off or else there's only going to be me left. Then what am I supposed to do? Keep myself company?
You and them ants. There will still probably be ants. Look at all them ants crawling in from the outside, falling.
What about it, Freedom?
They're just crawling all over the pennies. They're just crawling all over the pennies. Oh my God. All over Lincoln's face. They're just packed on Lincoln's face. I think the black ones is ants and ow, the red ones is meaner.
Well, to tell you the truth, it just reminds me of how life on Earth used to be.
How life on Earth used to be.
How life used to be before they went and pushed the button to end it all. Ants crawling all over the money, working, slave, laboring, tunnel, digging, war, fighting ants. Come on, Freedom. It's a goddamn metaphor.
Well, those ants and those pennies, they remind me of the first American Civil War.
All you ever think about, Freedom? The first goddamn American Civil War. Ever since you got those damn ugly shoes from the museum brick piles.
My shoes? The sign at the museum said these shoes were worn at the site of the Emancipation Proclamation by the great Abraham Lincoln. Thank you very much. My shoes is priceless.
You sure you didn't get old Abe Lincoln's assassination bullet lodged in your head somewhere?
How could you? He was the great emancipator of a great war.
From whose perspective?
What do you mean perspective? The American perspective, I guess? Because it really changed the country. Yeah, it was a great war.
Right. For once in your miserable little life, you're right. This was American war. It was American versus American. No outside influence or bad guy. Politics. The country's values crashed on itself, burning like disintegrated skyscrapers.
Right. Right. You know, it was the North versus the South, the Union and the Confederacy.
It was the rich versus the rich, using the poor as their chess pieces, just like always.
Well, I thought the Civil War was about freeing the slaves.
Yeah, sure. That was a result of the Civil War, but it wasn't the absolute driving force behind it.
Well, I don't get it.
Listen, Freedom, it's just about a goddamn perspective, like I've been telling you, okay? History doesn't tell us the details or account for everyone's perspective.
Yes, they do. Here we go again. What are you up to now, Fallen?
Nothing. I'm just saying.
Just saying what?
Everything you think you might have learned, everything destroyed here, even what I'm telling you right now is coming from a decorated perspective. You, me, this country, hell, the history of the godforsaken planet was just a perspective. More often than not, it's told from his story. It's written by the victors.
Who's Victor? I mean, does he owe me money?
You know the man, the ones in power. The ones holding the pen and paper. Oh yeah, writing and documenting and publishing history. You have to ask yourself sometimes, Freedom, who's telling the goddamn story you're tuned into? I guess personally, I just don't think the Civil War was about freeing the slaves at all.
Then what was it about, Fallen?
The Civil War, like all wars, was about this. It was about him. Abraham Lincoln, your great emancipator.
That he was.
No, he was just another political puppet hungry for the power like all the other great leaders of this great country, which now rests in great ruins, if I might add.
Well, just so you know, Abe Lincoln wanted freedom from all men and women alike.
He wanted votes. In the North, he was whispering equality under his breath, and in the South, he was humbly preaching white superiority. Once he was elected to presidency, 7 Southern states seceded from the Union. You know what that means. That means they said bye-bye. Did you know that?
Yeah, I know that. But he wanted to free all slaves.
No. It was because he was a goddamn Republican that threatened the slave interest. Northern elites wanted market expansion, and the Southern elites
wanted to keep the slaves.
No! Neither side cared about slavery as an unjust institution. Certainly not enough to go to war for it.
Then what about the Emancipation Proclamation then, Fallen?
It was a desperate military tactic used in the late war by a desperate Abraham Lincoln. Desperate to win.
Well, he did free the slaves, right, Fallen?
If you could just walk a lap in my shoes, Freedom. Think about whose shoes you're standing in. This country, which has now been reduced to rubble, found a way to maintain slavery economically.
Okay. How's that?
Here's one for your math whiz. Dun, da, da, da. The segregation equation, Jim Crow laws, industrial prison complex. So you take the power, class, privilege.
Okay, power, class, and privilege.
Subtract the heart and soul of those in power. Then divide and conquer a class of people based on the color of their skin to the 5th power or 13th Amendment or whatnot. And what you got left over is a lonely remainder that just doesn't have a place to belong. A systemic remainder of racial oppression.
Hey, Fallen, how do you know all of this?
I found a different perspective in a pile of crumbled library books the other day. There were stacks and stacks of old books. I've been reading a little bit, okay?
Hey, Fallen, do you think if American existence would have lasted and they really would have conquered the world, you know, instead of destroying it, do you think they would have eventually went to war for the stars?
Freedom, they were always fighting for the stars. The stars and the stripes for the Star-Spangled Banner.
Or the land of the free!
And the home of the slaves.
Stop it! That's not the words.
The home of the graves.
Just stop it! Just stop it. You're always tricking me. Always tugging at my leg, trying to make me feel dumber than you, but what do you do? That's so great. You read. Always got your head stuck up in them books like some ostrich. Mad at history. Can't grasp a moment, scared of the future. What is up with you?
Look around you, Freedom. Your only worth mentioning achievement in life is that somehow you turned out to be a die-hard cockroach and survived a devastating atomic explosion. I ain't concerned with making you feel dumber than me. That's a given. I'm just trying to expand your narrow point of view a little bit, opening your mind up, let you in on my perspective like I told you before. If you just listen to me, shoot, to be honest, I bark things at you all the time, and I don't even believe myself. Just to see what I can poke out of you, how you'll react. Yeah, I'm just trying to make a friendly conversation with you to kill the boredom.
You can say my hair looks nice, Fallen. Or today is a beautiful day today. But you don't have to lecture me for a decade about Abraham Lincoln just because you don't like my shoes. You don't have to talk to me about math or black holes or anything that's going to tick me off or make me want to slice your throat in the middle of your sleep. And to be honest with you, I don't like your perspective that much at all. No how either. Yeah. Have you ever noticed that the penny is the darkest coin? Have you ever thought about how it's the coin with the least worth? Or have you ever thought about how Abe Lincoln's face is taken from another perspective? A different view. He's looking forward, yeah? And they're looking back. Have you ever noticed that?
I told you people were idiots. The things they believed in, it's the actions that counted most.
Hey, Fallen, a penny heads up. See a penny, pick it up. All day. Good luck.
Let's count the stars, shall we?
Welcome to the mighty USA. Drop the bags and enjoy the stay. Well, all lives matter, but so they say. One.
Thank you for tuning in and watching Eden Theater's production of the Living Room Plays, part of our Room Plays series. I am Jordan Gamalik, and I am the production manager here at Eden Theater Company. So thank you guys for tuning in. Before you go, I just want to take a moment to bring out our actors. So give me one moment just to get their videos all back on. Come on out, actors and directors and writers, wherever you may be. Awesome. All right, cool. I think that should be everyone. Come on out. Awesome. Thank you guys for tuning in. These are our lovely actors and our lovely director, Ran, as well. I just want to make sure if we can get Mario, who was one of our amazing writers, in as well. Mario. So yeah, so thank you guys. If you guys, all actors and directors, writers, want to take a moment and take a bow, let's all just take a bow. Thank you. Awesome. So thank you guys again for tuning in. Stay tuned for our next part of our room series, The Bathroom Plays from the Bathroom, which will be very, very fun and exciting. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be wonderful. And if you want to tune in and see more about what Eden is doing and just everything happening in the world of Eden Theater, you can go to edentheater.org or go to our Facebook, our Instagram page as well. And we also have a YouTube page, so check us out. So in the meantime, thank you guys and have a wonderful night. Thank you.